Hi all, this is Dr. J, streaming live from Long Island, New York, where the weather was okay. It wasn't a great weather day, but I've seen worse. We've had worse most of the week, in fact. So I'll take it. You take what you get when it comes to the weather, and you can say the same for the stock market. It takes what you get, and today we gladly took what we got. It was a well-deserved rally for you bulls, including Dr. J, who's been leading the bull charge for the last year now. I've been the last of the bulls when things look bleak, never wavering, but made some sensational calls recently, calling just about every little correction and every bottom to the correction, and so on. The good news is I think it's very early still in the final stage of the bull market. And we are going to get a lot of sis boom bar action. We've only seen it really in the large caps, in the Dow Jones Industrial Averages, in the S&P, in the Qs, led by the giants of the Q, Facebook, FAANG, if you like, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, giant corporations. And on the Dow 30, giant corporations. And on the S&P 500, some of the largest companies in our market. Less so in the rut, which has, over the last 20 years, outperformed all the other indices. Over the recent year or two, has way underperformed. So we're going to see catch up with the biotechs, catch up with the rut, the IWMs. Before this thing is over, we're going to see the biggest moves coming from middle caps and small caps, and finally micro caps. And when the micro caps start jumping from 1/10 of a penny to 2 pennies, then perhaps it's time to decrease your positions and head for the hills. Dr. J has been doing mainly buying over the last year, but today I only sold, and regretfully sold a 3-bagger by the name of Vygr Therapeutics. I only sold half my position, however. And again, when you have a 3-bagger in a relatively short period of time, I think you almost have to take something off the table. And that's what I did today. The excuse that I had was a very big engulfing candle, bearish engulfing candle. It came after a big rally. So I figured, in the worst case, I'm wrong and half my Voyager will continue on to 100. If I'm right, I'll have an opportunity to buy it back at lower prices. So without further ado, let me get to the video charts. But of course, as always, do your own due diligence. My opinions are strictly my own, do not constitute investment advice. I do have some very great ideas. As I pointed out, I've been right on the money with the Dow, with the market calls, and even with some of the biotech calls and some tech calls. I've been in and out of Amazon successfully 4 times over the last few months. I should have stayed in a little longer on this one, but that's besides the point. I've made perhaps the most short-term money on Biopath as it jumped from 2 to 75. Of course, I got out at 35 because I was in the gym when it hit 71, 75, and that was for a brief moment. So when you see a stock jump like that from 2 to 75, you have to have your finger on the sell button. And I didn't anticipate such a move, so I didn't use stops. I don't like stops anyway. And in any event, I don't have to apologize for getting in at about $4 and selling at about 35. Only Jigglypuff is one I know of that did better, sold at 50. And I know that Alice, who alerted me to that sucker in the first place, thank you, JD, sold it and bought it and sold it and bought it all in one day successfully about 3 or 4 times. So I tip my hat to JD as always. Anyway, let's get to those video charts. I just want to take a quick peek, see if anybody's writing me chat messages. If so, I do like to respond. So let me just go into my YouTube. Should have done this earlier. I'm going in on my phone, so I have to mute the sucker. Otherwise, we're going to get an echo, 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 echo. So we're live. There's 11 people live with me. I thought that there was a limit on Google of 10, but it says 11. Maybe I'm the 11th. So let's take a look. There are a lot of chat messages. Greg says hello. It's raining now. Ooh, raining now. I'm looking out the window. You're right, Greg. We're both in Long Island, Greg and I. Friday's going to be better weather. That's good. CVM was great today, says Scotty. You're Don Tootin. I have the chart. I'm going to brag about CVM a little bit, but I ain't selling any till yo 11. Yo 11. Forget the rule about a triple. Yeah, I have a triple, but I want to get a quintuplet. Is that the word? No. Whatever it's called, a 5-bagger. All right. Scotty, hello to you too. Lucas, Bodna, hi there. Hi there. Legal Alien Bear is present. E61 AGEM, top 5 stock positions of mine. You got it. I only charted CVM. I didn't chart Athesis, which is my #1 position. Maybe I'll quickly do it. Kronos is one of my top positions. I don't have that charted. I did chart bpth, Voyager, CVM. I think that might be all that I charted, but I will mention my top 5 holdings. CVM all the way until the 298 event, says Bodnar. I don't blame you, but I've got a ton of money on it. A little profits at 11. I'm allowed to have a little profit. I'm not going to take profits till 11. Give me a break. You're allowed to ring the cash register. You're probably right. I'll be sorry I took anything off the table when it goes to 100. But if it goes to 11, I promise I will take, how about this, a modest 25%. It's not that much. Okay, I think that's all the chat messages for now. So let me get to the video charts. I'll come back later, look at some more chat messages. Okay. What have we? We have a share screen situation, yes. It looks good. Looks like it's sharing it properly. Let's start with the Dow. I actually am pretty proud of my Dow calls. I really, really nailed the Dow over the last year, more than any other index. Seems like I have my pulse on the Dow. So I pretty much called everything, the tops, the bottom down here on Christmas Eve. I called that one. I called the sell-off based on this gravestone doji up here on 225. I called the recent sell-off based on this gravestone doji right here. And that was a nice little sell-off with it. Notice the correction pattern, A, B, C, typical correction. I called the 61.8 retrace. I called for a turning point right here. We got it. It's like I was almost clairvoyant. It's like ESP. And the last time I broadcasted on Monday, I got on, they said, this looks like consolidation to me right in here. Look for the breakout. I expected the breakout One day later than we got it, but hey, who's perfect? But we are melting up. We're up above the 100% retrace. I mean, not 100% retrace. We totally come back to the beginning of the downturn and Japan closed above it. We took out the high of 26,695, closing at 26,12. No, 26,112. Is that all we closed? That's wrong. Let me just refresh this, please. I don't want it to look ridiculously wrong. Okay, refreshing, 26,753. That's much better. Up 249 points, much better, 0.94%. So we've taken out this high, as I said before. We took out 26,695, closing at 26,753. A very, very big move off the 61.8% fib retrace. Beautiful move. Are we done? No, we're not done. Of course, getting a China deal or just starting the talks again with the Chinese premier at the G20, just a hint of starting negotiations again will be enough to propel this market to new all-time highs for the Dow, for the S&P. I think we hit one today, for the RUT, which is trailing the other indices, and for the NASDAQ. So I'm calling for new all-time highs in all major indices. Biotech will be a tremendous winner, probably going up 50% by the time this thing is over. The index, that is. Individual issues, much more than that. So biotech, if you want the risk on play, it's going to be biotech. Of the indices, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I like the IWM the best. Let's take a quick look at what essentially is the IWM, the RUT. The RUT is not in as great shape as the Dow or the S&P. It is the trailing index. It's pretty far away from making new all-time highs, whereas the Dow is knocking on the door. We haven't even fully retraced off the last correction. The last correction began 5-6. We have to get to 16, what is it, 16, 18. I think we should have no trouble getting to 16, 18. So I'm not saying tomorrow, but I'm saying over the next week or two, this thing will fly, in my estimation. So will we get a couple of down days just to scare the bulls? Sure we will. The markets never go straight up. Although if you look at what's happening with the trend line on the RUT, it's coming off that trend line. It's trading above the 100, above the 50-day. We're definitely in control. The bulls are definitely in control, and it looks like we're ready to blast off. So it's a very nice looking chart. CVM, talking about blast off, the rocket ship already came and blasted off. John Glenn was reincarnated today and took the rocket ship up with sell side. Okay, so this is some candle. I mean, this is a huge candle. 5% on the day. This is wrong. What's with these numbers? I have to refresh. I'm so sorry. It's way above 612. It's in the sevens. 754 after hours. Holy mackerel. I didn't see that. 781 after hours. What's going on? What's going on? Wow. Dr. J is even surprised. But you're talking about liftoff. You don't have to be a technician. You don't have to be a technical analyst. You don't have to be a genius to know this is one hell of a candle. We've already had liftoff. This is an incredible candle. I mean, all that's left is to take out the old high on 5.9, 5.10 of 835. Hell, we could do that tomorrow. I expect a lot of volatility tomorrow. I expect we come back down maybe to this level where I'm pointing 7 something, 705, who knows? So I don't expect 781 at the open tomorrow. I'm sorry. I expect it to come back a little unless there's some news I don't know about. And then make the big move. So you'll have an opportunity. I think there will be an opportunity for anyone who hasn't yet participated in this stellar move to get in for a short-term pop above the 850 level. So there's still gains to be made even prior to the data readout, in my estimation, unless there's some news I don't know about, like the data has come in or something of that nature, which I don't think is the case. So I still think we're months away from data, and that's a good thing for CVM. I've been saying that all along. The longer it takes to get the data, the better, because that means patients aren't dying. Patients aren't dying is an implication, I think, a no-brainer that we will meet primary endpoint, 10% or more increase in survival rate, and that's the primary endpoint. I think we'll get secondary and tertiary endpoints as well, quite possibly, tumor reduction or whatever. All right, so here's hoping. Here's hoping for great data. Is hoping for further blast off. This is only the first stage as the rocket ship goes up. What's next when you lose the booster or whatever the heck they do, and then we're first going to zoom, maybe at the speed of light. Can we go at c²? I don't think so. Not quite that fast. But this is a tremendous mover. I've been in this one and out of it, mainly in it, since the 2s when I first discussed it with you guys. And I've been buying it, keeping a core position, selling a little, coming back in, selling a little, coming back in. I don't think I'm selling another share until yo 11. That's just my feeling. And what's magical about 11? Nothing. It's just when I go to the casinos, I love yo 11. Nothing magical. This is not from TA, and it's not from TM. It's from T nothing. It's from a gut feeling in my belly that we're going to hit $11 a share before data. And of course, it could be indigestion, but it's a gut feeling in Dr. J's belly. One of my biggest winners of the year, outside of Biopath, of course, Voyager Therapeutics, a Parkinson's drug, a Huntington's disease drug, a neurological disease of all sorts. I think it's basically looking for solutions to all progressive neurological diseases, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington's. I don't know the names of half of them. I know I have one of them, and that's unpleasant. But even though I'm rooting for them, I mean, I have early stage Parkinson's. I'm rooting for them, but I had to sell half my position because I have a 3-bagger. I bought it at in the 9s. I bought it again in the 8s when it dipped. So how could I not sell half my position, especially on this large, bearish engulfing after a very long rally? So when you get a bearish engulfing like this after a very long rally, could spell trouble. I don't think it goes below the low of this green candle, however, 22.92. So I'm going to be looking to get back in somewhere lower. I don't know how much lower, maybe 25 bucks, but lower. Maybe lower than 25 bucks even. I had an opportunity to sell higher today. I mean, as high as 28.76, but I sold at the close at 26.97. So, you know, I can't complain. I mean, I could complain, but you guys aren't going to feel sorry for me, so I'm not going to bother. Let's see if there's any other chat messages. Any other chat messages? Let me refresh this. Yeah, I got a whole bunch more. Hi, Greg. Thank you for asking everyone to share the link. Maybe you should come on my vlog with me. I think you'd be my great partner. Want to be my partner? All right, anyway, so we have this bearish engulfing. Greg has been one of my biggest supporters. I owe so much to Greg. I have some very loyal followers, but none more loyal than Greg. Thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate it. And JD has given some phenomenal commentary, as has Anthony, as has Jigglypuff, as has so many of you. Ali Dalal, Ali Kamal, can't think of every name. Brooklyn is one of my favorites. Brooklyn mainly sends me direct messages via StockTwits, occasionally posts. Okay, bpth. So I'm not advising anybody to do anything. If you happen to own Voyager and you want to stick with it, there's nothing wrong with sticking with it, even if you have to take a small loss. I don't think you'll take a huge loss short term, especially in a very bullish market. And I don't think you can ignore this big red candle, but who knows? bpth. bpth, we don't even see the action. Where is it? How long ago did that occur? There it is. The run to 75 bucks, right? High of 73.52. Again, I got out somewhere, I don't know, around here, I guess. Around here? I don't know. I didn't get in that day. I got in earlier. So I got in, I don't know, somewhere around here and here, and I bought again. I don't know. I bought a pretty low number here, probably. Probably $4, something like that, in the fours. So I had a very nice little run on bpth. Do I think you can repeat that run? Truthfully, no. But do I think it's worth owning? Maybe yes, and only maybe. Let's take a look at the recent chart. I do like the fundamentals on it. They have a very nice delivery system, and the drug works well in conjunction with two other drugs. We've talked about the fundamentals in the past. It's a long-term play for a possible role in the solution to cancer. Cancer is very tricky. This drug could play a role. Right now, it's forming, an upward. It looks like probably a bear flag, actually. Maybe not. Yeah, probably. It looks like a bear flag, bear pennant. So this breakout and close below this line is a negative. Where would I be buying it? I think we hopefully this candle holds. So the low would be 1269, the close 14, the open 1290. I would look to buy, if I wanted to buy this, and I may buy it back, I'd be looking to buy it around 13. So I think it has another little bit to go on the downside. And then I would put in a stop below the all-time low of 1221. Again, mental stops, because I hate hard stops. Those M&Ms come and get me all the time. It seems like they say to themselves, Dr. J has a stop order in, let's bring the stock down as low as that and then bring it right back up. So I just don't do it anymore. Nuclear Baker, you're making a lot of great calls. Thank you. Let's hope it continues. Dr. J likes to get rich. And I would like to get richer. I don't know. It's really not the money with me. It's more ego. It's more helping people. And that's all it is. It's making friends online, social media. I enjoy that tremendously. Of course, I'm not always right, unfortunately. So you got to be very careful following anybody. I don't like to think you're following me in particular. You should be making your own trading decisions, doing your own due diligence. Again, I'm not a qualified investment advisor. I didn't pass any of those fancy tests. I never took them. I never worked in a financial firm. I never worked on Wall Street. So there are smarter people, or at least better credentialed people than Dr. J. I won't say smarter. I can say smarter. I'm a damn smart son of a bitch. I'm just kidding. There are plenty of smarter people in there. Einstein was smarter. All right, anyway. So, of course, my picture that I like to post in social media is Einstein. So it's not me. I don't quite look Einsteinian. Anyway, so yeah, this is not the best looking setup for entry, immediate entry. But you know, if you're anxious to get in, I would look to get in a little bit lower. You could always get a little bit less, pay a little bit less if you're anxious to get in for whatever reason. But I would be careful that it doesn't go below the 1221 mark. That's my line in the sand. So if I re-enter Biopath, I'll be re-entering with that $12 stop in mind, only in my mind. Tilray, the reason I'm charting Tilray, I don't own Tilray, but I wish I had bought it. I wish I had bought it back here. But it may not be too late. Dr. J is eyeing an entry point. I'm looking to buy it on any pullback, let's say to the 50. It closed above the 50 for the first time in a long time. And that's an excellent bullish sign, of course. So Tilray is having itself a rally. I like the curve bottom. I think we have bottomed here. I know it's been lower. It's been as low as 34.30. So it's come up a long way. It came up to 46.65, back down to 38.70, and now a close at 50, high of 50.20, close 49.71, up 10% today. So it looks like a stock you want to be in for at least for this run. But every single run gives you an opportunity to get in. So if you want to get in on this one, I'm thinking Dr. J is looking at the $46 area, at least a $3 pullback. Otherwise, I missed it. I missed it. I've missed others. So what are you going to do? But Tilray has been the best recent performer of the four big, what I consider the four big Canadian pot stocks, namely Aurora, which has been very, very just kind of treading water, CGC, Canopy Growth, which I think has enormous potential, and Kronos, which is probably added it to my pop collection. What happened to my screen? I see on the phone that I lost my video. That's not a good thing. I don't know if you can still hear me. Well, you know what? I'm just going to end it here then. If that's the case, what's the point of continuing if we don't have the screen? So let's see if I get the screen, if I get the picture of myself on the camera. Oh, error loading your app, some kind of message. Yucky poo. All right, so I'm going to say shalom, au revoir, arrivederci, ciao. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.